I don't know shit.
I don't know.
I don't know shit.
Call it. Go ask Preacher Man.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Go ask Mr. Politician.
I don't know shit.
He says he knows. But me?
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Cole here, new Revelutionary, on value and money. There are things in life that are valuable that have nothing to do with money. Yet our society seems to think the only things that are of value are things that either make money, are worth money, money itself. Oh, that's not valuable, it's not worth money. Or, oh, that thing doesn't make a lot of money, it's not valuable. When I would say the most important entity of value is energy. Money is just a representative value of energy, and at its best, money would just be a coupon for energetic transfer of value. And that's probably what it used to be, but over time with the printing of money, inflation, a materialist society, it's got all out of whack. My journey has been unique in that I got into Georgetown and Wall Street at 21, was making more money than my parents at 21 years old, only to go broke following my love and truth of words, giving music and comedy and podcasts and things, and making no money for 15 years. And people looking at me like I'm not a person of value. And I made the decision to do this because I literally thought I had better value to give the world than just sitting in an office collecting coupons, money. Like, there's a million people who make a ton of money, and capital allocation is important, and I'm not judging nobody, but me just sitting in an office collecting more money, I mean, that doesn't help the world at all. At least I could try here, and I plan to be very successful, currently not. And that's fine, because around people in my life I add value. I give insights and care and empathy and feedback, and I make stuff that makes people dance and laugh and explore their minds. I mean, that's valuable, I would hope, right? And I'm grateful for this experience, because it's not about me. I hope I got my big rainbow in the sky coming soon, in wealth and rags to riches. I always believe in that. Maybe I'm just another poor dumb fuck believing in I'm winning the lottery. But there's a whole lot of people out there that their entire life might not be a lot of money. People who are helping in the streets and nursing and trash and whatever it is. And these people have value. Like, it's your value is not just like how much money you make. These people can be kind contributors to their communities, and a person who makes people laugh and smile, that's worth more than money, and it sucks because there's kind of like a poor tax, where like the poorer you are, the more you get caught in the system, where you are paying more parking tickets or overdraft fees, and then you're frustrated and you're late, and or you get caught with a ticket or a citation, or you even get to jail, and then you gotta pay a bond, and then and these costs add up, and then you're amongst friends, you're arguing over a couple $100 because you're both broke, and this, that, and this, and survival has an extra cost to it, because it's not as efficient as just having the money. You're getting caught in all these little poor traps, and it hurts me to think that there's so many people out there who feel shame or guilt, or like they're not worthy, or even that they're a bad person just because they can't afford to pay their bills, when the system itself is broken at this point. When the minimum wage doesn't pay the minimum rent, there's a problem. And the fact that people got to work 2 or 3 jobs to take care of a family, when in the 50s you could get a house for 60 grand, and one salary could take care of a whole family, and you got a pension, so you had a fucking respectful retirement. You didn't have to be an old person bagging groceries at 84 years old, because there's no pensions anymore, because the private equity hedge fund guys renege on their obligations to make a couple bucks and burn down a company in the process. We've become over-financialized. The economy's become over-financialized. Everything's just money. It's such grift. It's not even like value for services or services for value. It's just like they're just taxing you at every junction where you have to pull out money. Like online, everything's on apps, right? Grubhub, blah blah blah. They're just adding tax. Like you buy a $24 meal on Grubhub and it's got $14 worth of expenses because you have no fucking choice. You're going through them. And the more that they control the whole, tech serfdom, feudalism, we all end up as serfs on their tech land, having to pay fees at every fucking juncture just because that's the defined tech of the time. And the shit adds up. And if all the corporations buy a bunch of the homes as they're doing, I think that there's a stat, something like Wall Street has like 30% of them now, they can do the same thing. And me, this is a guy who, smart dude, works hard, good ideas, executes, goes around with Revel Media and these ideas to help the world and companies and movies that can do things, and you get crickets. And I'm super fucking smart and went to Georgetown and all this other shit. If it's hard for me, it's got to be so hard for somebody else who didn't have the same amount of latent gifts and shit. If there's white privilege, I haven't fucking experienced it yet, all right? At least on this front. I think it's more of a class issue than a race thing. Like, everybody, is gassed up about gender and race, but, like, the real issue is classism. And it's kind of like 1% is just not paying taxes, hoarding money, hoarding assets, hoarding homes, not even using them. And then the poor are fighting over the limited leftovers, and it makes us look like crabs. And because we're desperate, we do crazy shit like sue each other and fight each other, and violence and all this stuff happens as a result of, like, if everybody had enough to eat, I doubt that shit would be going on. I doubt people would be making come-ups on each other if they were just cool. It's like you got to sell yourself into slavery, or you make a come up on somebody, and it's all the lower class fighting each other down in the bucket when there's plenty to go around. I was invited to stay at a building where I would throw events to promote healing arts and music and comedy, and that would kind of cover my stay there in value add, which would have added a lot of amazing humans and events and moments and money from doing that. And then they changed their mind a week in, and we had to leave. So we had to pack up all our shit and leave this big and empty building that's covered in dust, because they would rather just sit there and wait until they can sell it for $40+ million. I'm like, it's just sitting there empty. Like, why don't I do something with it until you sell it? Or why don't you just lower the price to 30 and you sell it tomorrow, and it becomes a functioning asset in the community? But because of greed, these oligarch types are just holding on to an asset to get the maximum dollar for it, and then just put that money in an account that doesn't move either. Money has to move to grow. We've become stale. If we're going to be the monetary system for the world, then our money has to be good. It has to be valuable, used, not printed, not inflated, moving. It can't just be some stale, that's why you've seen these homes in Malibu for $140 million, $120 million, $80 million. You see in places in New York, $80 million, because it's just like the wealth theft. They got like unlimited coupons because it's not even real money anymore, and they can just park it wherever. And that's what causes the inflation. It's not like fucking some ambiguous thing with eggs, man. It's just a ton of fucking money. I mean, in the Great Depression, people were rolling around, fucking wheelbarrows because it was worthless. If they don't watch themselves, that's what it's going to do. And things and ventures and businesses and movies and products are valuable even if they don't make a ton of money easily, right? A lot of times I tell somebody an idea and they're like, well, I only do things that like guaranteed make money. It's like, oh, God bless. Like, what? Like, then go sell cigarettes. You'll always go sell liquor. You'll always go do a Ponzi scheme on Wall Street. Okay, like go fucking hedge on stocks. Go bet against something bad. If the only point of doing something is to guaranteed make more money, then what the fuck is the rest of society? I mean, that's just money for the sake of money for the sake of money. Like, who gives a shit, dude? Like, let's do things for humans, for community, for country, for world, for health. Like, okay, I have a movie. It's good and funny and helpful. Let's take a chance on it and do it. Maybe it makes a ton of money. Maybe it just like fucking gives people a lot of laughter and love. That's cool. Like, nah, but the serial killers, they're the guaranteed money. So we're going to make a $4 million serial killer movie because we'll for sure make 12 instead of trying your Jeebus movie for 400 grand that, you know, might make a couple million. Just because something makes money doesn't mean it should exist. And just because something doesn't make money doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. Like, I think a little more poetic. Like, things that are good and interesting and fun and fresh, whether it's a product, art, movie, whatever, that should exist. And if it's just like shitty shit because it makes money, I don't think that should exist. Well, it makes money, it has value. See, and the more that what I just said sounds crazy to you, is the more you're tied in with the matrix. The more you agree with me, the more you're outside it. Because if you're looking at like, okay, which would you rather do? You make a horror movie for $4 million and it guarantees makes $10 million on top, or you make a Jeebus movie and it makes $3 million, but it's culturally relevant and helps a lot of people. So many people in this business would just be like, oh, the horror movie, it makes more money. And it's like, great, you just added stabbing to society. Like, if they, you know what they say in Hollywood when they refer to horror movies, when they feel sheepish about it, like, because they know I hate them? They call them genre films. They go, oh, we only make genre films. I go, yeah, what genre? They go, horror. Take that a little more detailed, right? Oh, we make genre films. Okay, what do you mean? Oh, we make horror movies. Okay, what do you mean? Oh, does your movie have stabbing in it? Does your movie have blood and gore? Does your movie have depravity and murder? I mean, that's your product, right? I mean, you call it genre, you call it horror, but your product is murder. My product is truth and love. And you're like, well, that doesn't make money, so I'm gonna sell murder? All right, well then we're fucked. We're all fucked. If that's how we're all gonna think, we're gonna race to the bottom with a bunch of dark shit that makes money and doesn't mean anything. And doesn't that look like that's what's happening? So money is not the only value. There are things in life that exist that are of value that have nothing to do with money. Helping a friend, kindness, laughter, jokes, neat ideas, conversation with people, lending a hand, creating moments, art, shelter. What, you know, this like, we have this commoditized thing on top, but like, I think we kind of got to return to the basics of just like community. Like, what's good for the community? If it's good for the community, let's do it. If it's not good for the community, don't do it. Well, if it makes money, but it hurts the community, well, don't do it. You know? And that sounds crazy, right? They're like, oh, of course you do it. Well, that's why they've been selling us food and drinks and products that have PFAs and poisons and cancer-causing chemicals and plastics and microplastics and forever chemicals. Like, they just don't give a shit the cost of their making money. They're just spreading cancer, just spreading fucking poison in they're poisoning their own people. And we're seeing the results of it now. Cancer rates up on people under 50 years old, all these things going on. And you know what's crazy? In business, that's a cost. That has a cost. If your poison in your products causes other companies to have higher health insurance costs, then you caused a damages to them. So there's a way to rectify this entire thing using the law as it stands to get recouped for this negative business they're doing. It's not free, and I think that's the only way we change it. If I just keep saying out here it's not right, they're gonna be like, cool, pussy, you know. But if we just start suing all the companies for all the ways that they kill us slowly in the name of profits, and we get real damages against it, eventually they'll stop doing it because that's all they give a fuck about. And we'll be like, hey, well, we had to do it. It makes money, man, you know? Only in our case, it's actually good for the world too. So fuck your face. I love everybody else out.
I don't know shit. Right now 76, thinking. I don't know shit. Yeah, I don't know shit.